Hello everyone, this is Sir Monch, and in this lecture video, I'm gonna share about taking charge of oneself. And this is the last chapter of GE, Understanding the Self. Before we begin, let me give you a review of the entire journey so far, the entire journey that we have taken this semester. We started our journey with understanding and appreciating different academic and scholarly views of philosophers, sociologists, psychologists, and even other individuals who contributed to the differences between Western and East Asian views of the self. There was also a point in time where we covered the Filipino psychology or the Filipino self. After that, we embarked on understanding the different aspects of the self. For this subject, we only covered five: physical, sexual, material, spiritual, and digital. But remember, the aspects of self don't end with digital self. There are a lot of aspects that are still that you can study, but we cannot cover anymore due to time constraints. And we end our Uself journey with this final chapter, and that is taking responsibility of self. This actually is an invitation for every one of you, for all listeners, that after, after getting into the various views of the self from different scholars and also understanding the different dimensions of self, after we have unpacked the various dimensions or aspects of self, it's now time to take charge of yourself. Okay, to take responsibility of ourselves. And how do we do that? The approach that we will take is to understand mental health, how we take care of our mental health, because it's it's synonymous to psychological wellness or optimal functioning. No, if you have the optimal level of mental health, um, you also have an optimal level of functioning, no, where you are able to actualize all your potentials, you're able to live fully and function in a manner that is, productive and goal oriented. So the outline of this lecture video starts with understanding mental health, understanding common mental health challenges, particularly of university students, identifying signs, and what to do in mental health emergencies. So this is a part where we also take charge of other selves, no? If we know of someone who is suffering from, a mental health breakdown, for example, what do we do? That's a mental health emergency. And then we cover healthy coping strategies, no? And we end with just just an overview of additional resources and support that you can study. And these are questions for prior learning. What can you say about these topics? Common sources of stress for university students. Many people are saying that university is a very stressful time for many of us, for many of you, no? Especially for first-time university students, for freshmen, because it's a time of adjustment, no? You're used to certain policies that only applied in high schools or senior high schools. And when you entered a university setting, you many students would get shocked, no, would get culture shocked because obviously many instructors and professors would have different demands, would impose different levels of standards of performance for you to comply with. So what are those common sources of stress? No, knowing that university is a time of difficult adjustment for many freshmen. Number two, what can you say about signs that may indicate a student is experiencing mental health concerns? Do we know how to detect? Do we know how to spot? Do we know how to identify that a student is suffering from a certain mental health issue? Third, assessing mental health services and support, healthy coping mechanisms, and mental health emergency. So I was able to mention a little bit about mental health emergency a while ago. So if you are not very much familiar with mental health emergency, uh, we shall address that in this lecture video. So we begin with understanding mental health. Mental health, as you can reason, plays a crucial role in your overall well-being, academic success, and personal growth. So if you're able to feel positive emotions, if you're able to handle and manage your negative emotions, if you can remain buoyant, if you can remain afloat, no, amidst the various challenges of life that may, that life may give you, no, um, you may experience academic success, no, and personal growth. University students face a number of challenges that can impact negatively their mental health statuses. So I believe you are no strangers to news na ay mga students mag-commit ng suicide because they probably got overwhelmed of their problems, of their mental health issues. There are a lot of students, for sure, you already know some people who dropped out, who are no longer attending classes. And potentially, there are also students who are, going through some emotional difficulties or personal problems, or balancing the demands of home and school and other people in their lives. When we speak of mental health, it's a state of well-being where you as an individual is able to realize your potential. So you're able to come to school, you're able to express your thoughts and feelings in a competent manner, you're able to cope with the normal stresses of life. No? There is an understanding that stress is a normal part of life, and when you are able to, as I mentioned, if you're able to remain afloat, buoyant, you're able to handle the normal stresses of life, that's a positive or optimal level of mental health. When you're able to work productively and fruitfully, when you're able to set goals and you're able to attain those goals, work on those goals, when you are able to meet the demands of your roles. For example, one of your demanding roles right now is being a student. No, if you are able to attend to those responsibilities and at the same time meeting also the responsibilities of your other roles. For example, your role as a friend, your role as a child, your role as a neighbor, no? That is also a sign of an outstanding level of mental health. And when you're able to contribute to your community. Students with optimal level of mental health are more likely to be motivated. When we say motivated, You are energized. You have the reason to go on. You are interested in what you do. No, you are choosing. You are doing things because you want them, or yeah, you do things because they are what you want. They reflect your choices. No, and aside from being motivated, you are engaged, which means you take part actively in activities at school or in university. And you're focused, resulting in better academic performance. So oftentimes, people who are able to, cope with the normal stresses of life or normal stresses of academic life, um, they're able to result, or they're able to achieve outstanding academic performance. And also, um, students with optimal level of mental health also have improved coping skills, increased resilience, stronger social connections as well. Social connections can serve as resources for students to handle the stresses of academic life. No? And when they are overwhelmed, they know what to do. For example, they seek help from their trusted friends, and that's how they demonstrate resilience. That's how they demonstrate coping. Okay. And again, that's an optimal level of mental health. Compare that to someone who might, for example, a student gets insulted by, an instructor for failing to meet his responsibilities, and that student get ashamed, you know, that student got humiliated, in class. And um, kung gamay or kung poor ang iyang mental health, mo-give up na dayon siya, mawad-an na dayon siya gana. Okay? So, ang student nga na ay optimal level of mental health is able to handle situations like that. So, mohanap siya friends, kaistoryahan, or diretsuhan niya, prangkahon niya ang instructor na that's not the right way of talking to students. Instructors are not supposed to humiliate students in class. So kung ang tao is naayeng anak nga mga, coping, mo bounce back. Again, that's an indication of optimal level of mental health. Now, what are the common mental health challenges that are encountered by university students? Here are the common issues: stress and anxiety, depression, adjustment issues, substance abuse, eating disorders, relationship challenges, and sleep difficulties. We were able to cover eating disorders when we covered the physical self. If you remember, there are students who might suffer with, you know, poor body self-esteem. No, they are not happy what with how they look, and many adolescents, many university students would resort to problematic eating patterns. So many of them don't eat anymore, and that's under, the category of eating disorders. We'll touch more of that later. When we say stress and anxiety, I mentioned already that stress is a normal response to the demands and challenges of life, no? Of university life, of family life, of student life, and in fact, all aspects of life, no? However, excessive stress can lead to anxiety, which can negatively impact your mental health and eventually impact also your academic performance. Okay? So, daghay trabaho, daghay demands, you're not able to manage your own time because you're addicted um, with a game in your phone, and then you have a lot of assignments to do. So that can eventually lead to, you know, stress. What are your common stressors? Unsa may ga-trigger ng inyong stress? No, for sure na stress na mo at one point. So, try to ask yourself, nga man ma-stress bang ka? Ma-stress ka tungod sa pressure, tungod kay wala kay say, wala na kay freedom, wala na, di na nimo mabuhat ang imong gusto buhaton, or ma-stress ka because of lack of competence. Like, ma-insecure na ka kay kung mag-oral sa klase, di ka kabalo mo express sa imong ideas. Kung mag-presentation sa klase na ay mas abtik na classmate. That can be a source of stress for other students, no? Or are you stressed because of lack of friends? Wala kay nice classmates na imong ma-joke-jokan, wala kay classmate or kauban sa classroom na makarelate sa imong, you know, sa imong mga interests in life, no? There's a theory in psychology, it's called self-determination theory. I'm not gonna this is not part of the content of this chapter, but I'm gonna share just very quickly. The theory says that our optimal functioning, our optimal mental health is related to these three needs. We need to feel autonomous. We need to feel that we have a choice. That's one aspect. Second, we need to feel competent. We need to feel that there are skills that we are able to master and that we can apply in our day-to-day living. And then the need to, you know, have sincere connections, active involvement in your immediate community. Kung wala ning tulo, so maunang ma-pressure ka, wala kay control sa imong life, you feel ineffective, you feel inefficient, and then you feel that you don't belong. Maora ni ang tulo ka sources of stress, sources of or murag reasons nga no mo deteriorate ang atong mental health, mo deteriorate ang atong sense of wellness. Okay? So i-ask imong self nga naman mag-goal man ka. So actually makategorize ra na sa kadtong tulo na akong na-mention. Okay? So next, another common mental health issue is depression. When we say depression, take note, this is a clinical term. Many students would use this in their everyday language to refer to sadness. That can have some point, but I encourage you to be careful in using the word depression because, as I said, it's a clinical term. It refers to persistent feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and a lack of interest in activities that were once enjoyable. I'm highlighting here persistent because if it lasts for about 3 to 6 months of feelings of sadness, hopelessness, that can be depression already. You're potentially feeling depression. Okay, because again, when you are stressed, no, it's normal when we feel sad, no, we feel hopeless, but after 2 weeks, after 3 days, so it's normal for it's expected for many of us to just, you know, bounce back, no, tapos murag ba shake off ra ang kanang feeling of discouragement. Pero again, there are others na maabot ng 3 months, 6 months. Again, that's already an indication of depression. Okay? So, ayaw mo pag-ingon na, ala, na-depress naman siguro na siya. So, our, it's not, actually, it's not a business for anybody to label a particular experience as depression. Business lang siya ng koan ng legitimate na mga mental health professionals. So for example, psychologist. So naay buhaton si psychologist magpa-test, naay observation, naay interview para ma-diagnose nga ay depressed, na ay clinical depression. Okay? So, do you know of someone who is suffering from depression? Base naamoy kaila or base ikaw? So I invite you to um, avail um, mental health services na available sa inyong eskwelahan, okay, that are available in the university wherever you are attending university education. Okay. Adjustment issues. I was able to share about this earlier, that university life can be challenging. Therefore, um, it can be a source of stress, no? Especially for students who are leaving home for the first time. So I know that there are many of you freshmen who had to leave home to attend university education. And that's difficult, no? That's really difficult, especially if it's your first time. And that experience actually can involve homesickness when you miss the your home environment, the home environment na imong naandan since you were young, no? And yeah, I'm sharing with you is a research study. This was published in 2020. So this was a study by um, Robert John Almocera, Sir RJ, also by Dr. Conway, Dr. Gale, and Dr. Jerome Owano. These are, I know these people personally because Dr. Gale Conway and Sir RJ Almocera, we attended the same grad school some years ago. And uh, our mentor was Dr. Jerome Owano in LaSalle. So they did the study during the pandemic. So it was 2019 and they published that. Yeah, before the pandemic, they published that in 2020. Now, in this study, this is their main finding. Feeling homesick while starting university for the first time can make it harder for students to get involved in activities and events because they may feel like they don't belong or are disconnected from others. In short, or in a simpler statement, ang university students nga ma-homesick dili maka-engage, dili maka-submit ng ilang mga assignments, dili mahimong active sa klase tungod kay ang pagka-homesick nila maoy hinungdan na or murag maka-feel hinuon sila nga they don't belong. They are not connected. They are disconnected from others. So, di ba, lahi man ng day one, first week nimo sa university tapos daghan ra kay na amigo. So ang ending ana murag ma-manage nimo imong homesickness. Okay? So in this study, they found out na ang tao nga homesick, ang freshmen nga homesick, maka-feel gyud na ay dako na tsansa na maka-feel sila nga they don't belong. And then because of that, tungod kay they tend to feel na they don't belong, di na hinoon sila mo, murag lesser na pod ang chance na mo participate sila actively sa mga buluhaton sa eskwelahan. Okay? So unsa may lesson ana, it's important to really make friends, no? So kung kamo baga mog nawong, no? Reach out to shy students. And kay probably kaning shy students, they feel homesick, no? And para ma-manage nila ilang homesickness, so imo invite sa imong, let's say, taparon nimo sa classroom, you talk to that person, masking sa chat, okay? And that's how you help someone. Kay we don't know kung unsa iyang mga experiences mentally or psychologically. Another, substance abuse. This is a mental health issue, no? Because some students na naay mga problems or even yeah, specifically sa mga naay problems, some students may turn to substances such as alcohol, drugs, or prescription medications as a way to cope with stress or to fit in socially. Okay, so that's common among many students, even high school. Dili lang kung sa university students. And that's again problematic. Okay, if you know someone, feel free to help that someone to reach out, no? And or ayaw mo pagpadala sa pressure sa inyong peers na they drink every Friday, every Saturday because again, kung gainom mo, you are, abusing your body, no? And labaw na kung maka-learn ka nga kung naay problema mo inom. So dili pod na healthy nga coping sa stress. And then maoning eating disorders na akong na-mention a while ago. Eating disorders include anorexia nervosa, ano, bulimia, yeah, and other things may develop as a result of stress, self-esteem issues, and societal pressures. So again, so kung unhealthy pod ang imong eating or naa kay eating disorder, kung ma-diagnose ng isa ka legitimate na mental health professional, that can have that can have severe consequences on your mental health as well as your physical body. Another, relationship challenges. So university students may face challenges in forming and maintaining relationships, including friendships, romantic relationships, or family connections. So, kay lagi, first time man, no? Kung mga bag-o na ng mga tao. So, siguro, kamo, sa inyong, if you look around in your classroom, for example, so potentially, kung nag-survive mo karon entire semester, dako ang chance na you don't have this, problem na relationship challenges. So, kung naamoy makita ang classmate na wala na siya nagtunga-tunga, absent na siya, basi kana siya ang naglisod pag-establish ng friendship, naglisod pag-establish ng, connection sa peer. Okay? Kay dili man ni tanan romantic relationship. Others, sleep difficulties. Many students struggle with sleep problems. Ay maglisod pagtuyog, especially ga Facebook, ga TikTok, ga Instagram, or ga mobile games, no? Uh, Mao'y mag-impact pod negatively. That's sa imong mental health. So therefore, that's also a mental health issue. Okay. So karon kadto mga normal na mga challenges na inyong ma-encounter. Okay? So kung mudaghan na siya, ma-overwhelm na mo. Unsa na may signs, no, for you to know that someone or ikaw mismo, you yourself already are, suffering from a mental health problem or issue or concern. Okay, dili ko problem na kanang clinical problem na dyan. Murag na kay mental health issues. How do we know? Okay, so you can look at several indicators. Behavioral indicators, kung unsay makita na observable kanang actions. Emotional indicators, ginaunsa niya pag-express ang iyang emotion or unsa pod ang emotion na imong na na imong ma-detect from someone or ikaw kung unsa pod ang emotions nga nag-dominate deep within you. Naapoy cognitive indicators, kanang thoughts, um, physical indicators sa body, and academic indicators sa iyang pagka-estudyante. So, unsa man ang mga behavioral indicators, mga behavior, so social withdrawal. So, mao tong akong naingon kaina kung let's say kung moingon ang instructor group form groups of 5. Tapos na ay mga student na naalang sa corner, dili sila mag-inabot, maghanap ng partner. That can be an indicator. But Siyempre not always, kay daghan man kay i-consider ana. Siguro ang mas grabe ana is ang di na jud motunga. So always absent, nag-drop na siya. Okay? That is social withdrawal, refraining from, you know, continuing. So wala na iyang mga usa pa ni, wala na social interaction, nag-avoid na siya ng mga tao. Okay? Also, kaning neglecting responsibilities, di na siya motunga. Okay? Di na mo submit. Okay? Others, emotional indicators, morning persistent sadness, excessive worry, loss of interest, and feelings of worthlessness or guilt. When it comes to cognitive indicators, kaning sa thoughts ng tao, so naana siya difficulty concentrating, indecisiveness, negative thought patterns, memory problems. Di na makatimaan. And then sa physical, sa body, fatigue, kapuyon, luja, entero lawas kay posible wala interest na no sa mga activities. Changes in appetite, unexplained aches and pains, sleep disturbances also. Sa academic indicators, mautong na-mention nato earlier, difficulty engaging in class, frequent absences, and ang mas observable kanang declining grades, no? Especially kanang kung let's say sa high school nagkagamay or mautong nag-drop na gyud. Now, it's important for you to understand that when it comes to mental health issues, important ang early intervention na samtang dili pa siya serious clinical problem. Samtang dili pa siya mental illness. Samtang dili pa siya mental disorder. Okay? Imo nang i-intervene. So, ikaw for yourself or for others. Magtinabangay na mo pag-detect na, oy, absent na lagi ka. Oy, ang imong mood swings, grabe lagi. Maglisod lagi ka, concentrate. So, ikaw sa imong kaugalingon, di nakaka-study. So, kung mag-study manggaling ka, di ka makatimaan. So, unsa may ga-bother nimo? So, maglisod makag-concentrate. So, daghan tay mga pamaagi. So, you just go back to katong, let's say, sa atong spiritual self, katong mindfulness, no? That's a good psychological resource na akong na-mention sa inyo before. Okay? So everyone should be encouraged to seek help and support when they notice signs of mental health issues. Okay? So kanang let's say kanang sadness that lasts for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So you can work already, you can reach out to your classmates or to someone you know outside school para dili na siya mo develop into a full-blown na mental health illness. Now, what do we do in mental health emergencies? A mental health emergency involves situations where an individual is experiencing severe distress, putting themselves or others at risk or danger, or exhibiting signs of a significant decline in their mental health. So, siguro yeah, if we had to simplify this definition, it's a mental health emergency if the person is becoming a danger to him or herself, or the person is becoming a danger to others who are around him or her. Okay? So, kasagaran man god if let's say aggressive na siya kay naa siya bipolar na mood disorder. When we say a bipolar mood disorder, kanang mag-swing siya, ga-shift na murag karon na adlaw very depressed, and then later mahimo siyang manic. So kanang ka-intense ang energy tapos posible makapanakit siya sa uban. So, na siya. Examples of mental health emergencies kung ang tao kanang naa na jud siya firm intention nga mag-commit siya og suicide. Okay? So mo engage siya sa self-harm. Okay? Kanang gusto na siya mamatay. Tapos gaplano na siya ang saan pagpatay sa iyang kaugalingon. Maka-detect na ka, pina-joke na pamaagi. That can be a mental health emergency. Panic attacks. So, naay uban, naay heart problems, tapos tungod sa intense na anxiety, mag-panic attack pag yun sila, mo-experience sila ng shortness of breath, chest pain, dizziness. That's also a mental health emergency. There are others who are kanang um, mo experience sila ng psychotic symptoms, mag-hallucinate, delusions, disorganized thinking. So, magjagan-jagan na sila na walay sanina. That's a mental health emergency. And severe mood swings. Extreme changes in mood or behavior such as agitation, aggression, the one I mentioned a while ago, na potentially kung mo pose na siya ng risk to the person mismo or to others. That's an example of a mental health emergency. So again, if we had to simplify, kaya ang pinaka-common gid is kanang magpakamatay na siya or mo inflict na siya ng harm to others. That's a mental health emergency. What are the immediate steps that we should take during a mental health emergency? The first step is, syempre, it's an emergency, so you remain calm. Try to stay calm and composed because it can help the individual in distress feel more at ease and reassured. Okay? So, kung moingon imong classmate na magpakamatay na siya, gaplano siya magpakamatay. So, ayaw isinggit, ayaw ibandilyo sa laing tao. So, ayaw siya pakasitgi or do not do something that will make that person uncomfortable. Try to remain calm. Okay? So, next, assess the situation. Quickly evaluate the severity of the situation to determine the appropriate course of action. So, kung unya pa, o sige, napakay mabuhat, no? Napakay intervention na pwede mabuhat kay unya pagod siya nagplano na daw siya. Next, ensure safety. If there is any immediate danger to the individual or others, take necessary steps to ensure everyone's safety, including removing any potential harmful objects or substances. This is particularly true for people nga mag-experience ng psychotic symptoms. Let's say na sila'y hallucinations, na sila'y nakita na for them niabot na spaceship ng alien. So that can be dangerous for others kung manlabog siyag mga things or whatever. So that's when you try to ensure safety. So siguro sab kung naa ka sa boarding house, no? Tapos ang imong kaibanan sa boarding house nag-ingon nga magpakamatay na siya. So one way of ensuring safety, i-remove tong mga objects na makadaot ang mga PC pang kuhaan na siya. Okay? So those are one of the simple things that you can do. And then siguro mo ni ang practical step na you can do. Offer support. Let the individual know that you are there to help and provide comfort. So, kung nagkinahanglan sila og assistance, so definitely they need assistance. Okay? So, you provide them comfort. So, ano ka. So, since you are not a professional mental health um professional mental health service provider, I encourage you na in moments of mental health emergencies katong atong nakita a while ago, no, katong upat. So contact emergency services, no? So kung naay na nagjagan-jagan diha na psychotic, okay? Kung naay naglisod kay tagtabang na siya kay nagpanic attack siya. So take note of these emergency hotlines. So these are in Surigao City, no, through to you, students in Surigao. So you have these hotlines which I got from a website sa atong sa city government. And you can also contact a crisis hotline. Reach out to a mental health crisis hotline, and these are legitimate numbers. Okay? Okay, these are numbers from DOH. 0966-351-4518, 0917-899-8727, and the other numbers katong for SMART 0908-639-2672. So let's say imagine na ay tao na imong nahibal-an nga um, mag-commit na siya og suicide, mo-surrender na siya, gikapoy na siya, no? So pwede nimo siya istoryahon kina kalmado, so i-offer nimo ang assistance sa atong step, offer support. So unsa may ako matabang sa imo kung gusto kag kaistorya, so pwede ka mag-refer aning mga hotlines. So kung na kay load na ma-share, sige taga siya load para siya makatawag sa aning mental health crisis hotline. Okay? So siguro sa uban pod sa inyo karon kung naapod mo'y ing-ana na mga problema, no? Kung ikaw, if you yourself are experiencing suicidal ideation, also think, no, na there are people that are willing to talk to you, no? Naa sila na they are trained mental health service providers. So mo manage sa imong thoughts. Kay remember, if you have feelings of hopelessness, if you have thoughts of, let's say, killing or ending your life, um, that is that is you know that is poison, no, and you need to manage that poison. And oftentimes, dili na nimo kaya. Okay, so naay mga daghay panahon nga ikaw mismo dili nimo kaya na i-manage. That's why mo hanap jud tag kaistorya nga professional. Okay? So reach out to other mental health professionals. So kung naa siya, for example, if you know someone nga gaadto siya sa let's say guidance counselor sa eskwelahan. So you can contact the guidance counselor na, ma'am, sir, kaning student nga gaanha sa imo na asya'y panic attack karon. So unsa may atong pwede buhaton. So mga kag advice. Okay? So yeah, that's it. Okay? So you may take a screenshot of this. These are helpful na mga contact numbers, hotlines. Who are the mental health professionals ba? Who are the legitimate mental health service providers in the Philippines? Actually, there are four types of mental health service providers in the Philippines. There can be more, but I'm giving you four. Nate gitawag na psychiatrists, and I'm sure you have heard of these people. These are medical doctors. These are professionals who are trained as medical doctors. That's why when they help people suffering from mental health issues or mental health disorders, kasagaran ilang approach is also medical. They give you medications and they can also provide psychotherapy as part of their treatment plan. Okay? Sila, syempre, licensed na ng PRC gihapon or Professional Regulation Commission. Second, we have psychologists in the Philippines. These are professionals who specialize in understanding and treating mental health disorders. Pero ang ilang training is different from psychiatrists. So as I mentioned, si psychiatrist ang training medical. So medical doctor asa sila, nag-specialize sa psychiatry. Ang kaning psychologist, kaeskwela sila BS Psychology, and then nag-pursue pa ng higher level of education. So nag-master's degree in psychology, often clinical psychology, or ang iban mo, eskwela pag PhD in clinical psychology. That's why as you can see here, Psychologists in the Philippines hold a master's degree or a doctorate degree in clinical psychology. Actually, dili lang siya sa Philippines because in other countries as well, ang ilang psychologist or someone who are psychologist, dapat ang minimum educational qualification is master's degree. Okay? So, ang ilang approach sa pag-treat, sa pag-manage ng mental health issues include cognitive behavioral therapy, psychodynamic therapy, and humanistic therapy. We also have guidance counselors. These are professionals who offer guidance and support for individuals facing mental health challenges. So, daghan sila po approaches: career counseling, academic counseling, personal development, crisis intervention, and you can see them in a number of institutions na ay sa mga business or companies na sila counselors, no? And very commonly, uh, daghan or naapod sila sa school. So, for example, in SNSU, Surigao del Norte State University, we have a number of registered or licensed guidance counselors. So, our guidance office has, yeah, if my memory is serving me correctly at the moment, there are three, and there are two, and there are three more licensed guidance counselors who are, teaching, no, who are serving as faculty members, but not really practicing guidance counselors. Okay, so like psychologists, they also are a holder of at least a master's degree in guidance and counseling. And then we have registered social workers who can also provide psychosocial support. Okay. And just the same, they are licensed by PRC, pero ang kanang ilang degree is BS social work. So more college degree na level ang ilang educational qualification kasagaran. Okay? So, mao na ang imong hanapon, no, in case na ay mental health emergency. Know the people na pwede nimong kontakon: psychiatrist, psychologist, guidance counselors, or registered social workers. So kung naay mga issues, for example, suicide na mga intentions, suicidal intentions, or aktuhan nimo, pwede ka motawag ana ng psychologist, psychiatrist, guidance counselors. Actually, apil na pod ang registered social workers. Okay, tanan. So after the emergency, if the person nga, or let's say, yeah, if anybody in one, kung ikaw or your classmate or someone you know na humana ang emergency, na naagapan na, no? What do you do? Encourage follow-up care, offer continued support, maintain open communication, and educate yourself. So, kani siguro, I would emphasize on educating yourself. It really pays if you know the various issues that can, overwhelm you, that can overwhelm others, and what we can do also after. Now, developing healthy coping strategies. So, akong na-mention a while ago, it's normal for us to experience stress. Okay, so we have to embrace stress because that's a normal part of life. That's a natural part of life. Okay, so as I mentioned, there are a lot of students, a lot of people na ma-overwhelm na sila kanang mag-uol na hilabian, no? So kung naa sila tragic na experience, maglisod sila recover, okay, potentially they don't have healthy coping strategies. Okay. So what are the healthy coping strategies that you are invited to engage in whenever you know, whenever you experience stresses in life or for you to maintain your optimal level of mental health. So we have these activities, mindfulness practices, establishing a healthy work-life balance, engaging in self-care activities, and the very common stress management and or emotion regulation techniques. When it comes to mindfulness practice or mindfulness practices, we have already covered this when we talked about the spiritual self, particularly the mindfulness spirituality, that there are activities that can allow you to find peace, that can allow you to nurture your focus. And when you are able to focus on something, to be in the here and now, to be present in whatever is going on right now, you're able to focus on the important things, no? You're able to realign or um, get your energy back kay murag ang ubang tao manggod gipangkapoy na sila kay sige ra sila worry or gikapoy sila tungod kay di sila ka move on na something in the past. Okay, na kay ang event sa atong kinabuhi kay lumalabay lamang, so we have to enjoy the present moment, and we can do that via mindfulness. Okay? So ginagamit ang mindfulness not just to grow spiritually, but also to maintain an optimal level of mental health. People engage in meditation, yoga, and breathing exercises. Mo inhale sila and then they hold their breath for 6 seconds before they exhale. And they do that for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour in a day. Mauna ang mindfulness breathing. Connecting with nature. We have covered this already. You watch sunset, you watch the stars, or you go to, you know, you go climbing, trekking, social media detox. That's also a good coping strategy because there are people who are stressed because they are insecure. And the sources of their insecurities are those messages that they get online in their social media pages. Okay. Or people who are saying toxic things about, you know, about you, about others, and mindful walking. So I don't know if you're able to walk alone and then you're just mindful. You just look at how your feet are moving, the stones that you are, you know, na imong malabyan while walking. That's mindful walking. So you're able to feel relaxed as well. Um, Listening to calming music. So there are people who like to listen to, let's say, religious songs whenever they are stressed because those music, those songs help them, you know, feel relaxed and they facilitate mindfulness and other mindfulness hobbies. So mag-knit, maghimo, ang iban mag-cross stitch, mag-garden. So even sa magkarang mag-balance ng stones and others. Another, engaging in self-care activities. Syempre, physical exercise, we need to factor that in. So you are all encouraged to really engage in an active physical lifestyle. That's the reason of your PE1, fitness. How do you engage in activities for your physical health? No? So stretching, so ang uban mag-weightlifting, mag-run every Sunday, that's enough, no? Sleep hygiene as well. So what is sleep hygiene? There are people who are very good at physical hygiene. So maligo, mag-skincare sa nawong, pero unsa man ang sleep hygiene? When we say sleep hygiene, you remove things that are distracting destructive or that can disturb you or that cannot help you to fall asleep, no? So for example, when you set a time that every 10 p.m. dapat wala na phone in your bed or dapat you are already in your bed. That's sleep hygiene, no? Na you do things aron makatulog tag early. Okay? And nutrition. So kaon mong balance na meal as much as possible or kaon mong daghan. Okay? Kaon mong healthy, kaon mong daghan. Next, establishing a healthy work-life balance. So we create a balance between academic responsibilities and personal interests. So it's okay to play some mobile games, for fun, for recreation, but it's not good when all of your attention and energy and resources are all poured out for your mobile games. So the key is always balance because it's not also good, I would say, for someone or for students to be uh, 100% invested in their being a student. Okay? So there are parents who encourage na dapat puro study, 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 study. No? But there are also other parents, other teachers, other instructors, or even me. I would tell you na the key is always balance. So, eskwela mo daghan, pero daghan pod mo extracurricular dapat. Okay? So, believe me, you can really manage your activities in class if you are just if daghan mo activities. So, for example, you look forward to a weekend with your friends, no? Ang laag mo sa Boulevard or wherever. So, if you are someone who has that kind of plans for the weekend, so that can be motivational on your part na imong tapuson imong trabaho this week kay para mag-happy-happy ka. So that's the key. So you schedule time for relaxation, schedule time for social activities, you schedule time for hobbies, not just for studies. No? And stress management techniques. So we have emotional regulation techniques as well kung saan pag-manage ang imong ugly emotions. So you have here identifying emotions. That's the first one. Expressing emotions, second. And then lastly, you manage emotions. So I'm gonna cover this in stress management techniques. And a good resource material that I'll be referring you to is WHO's 2020 illustrated guide called Doing What Matters in Times of Stress. It's actually a book and it's free to download. So you can access this material. You can open Google and just type in doing what matters in times of stress. And you will get a web page that looks like this. And then you can click on English, and that's how you can download the entire material for free. Take note, it's an illustrated guide. So what you can see there are contents that are friendly to all kinds of readers for even non-readers, no, because they can already appreciate the illustrations that are there in the book. Okay? So, syempre, mahimo po siyang entertaining, engaging for us readers because there are illustrations. Now, in that book, when we are under stress, when we are being attacked by something overwhelming, a tragic event in our life, no, na inahitabo na problema na bagsak, you got a failing grade, you're not able to submit an output on time, etc., etc. So WHO's guide suggests that there are 5 tools that we can use. grounding, unhooking, acting on your values, being kind, and making room. What do we mean by these five values? The five tools, no? The first tool, when we say grounding, you ground yourself during an emotional storm. So find your ground. Asa man kadapit. Okay? So for example, grabe nimo kasuko. Okay? Or grabe nimo kaguol. Okay? Find your ground. That's an emotional storm. Notice your thoughts and feelings. Slow down and connect with your body by slowly pushing your feet on the floor, stretching and breathing, and refocus and engage with the world around you. Okay? So, hanapa lang. So, ang iban, masuko na, manglabog na ng mga butang diha, makalimot na sa ilang kaugalingon. So, the first key, the first tool, you ground yourself. Okay? So, hanapa ang imong kaugalingon asa-asa man ka karon. Okay? Second, unhooking. When we say unhooking, you remove yourself from something that hooks you up. Unhook yourself in 3 steps. First, notice that a difficult thought or feeling has hooked you. Realize that you are distracted by a difficult thought or feeling. And then silently name that difficult thought or feeling. And then refocus on what you are doing, paying full attention to whoever is with you and whatever you are doing. Okay? So, mauning, if I may go back, atras ko din. So, diba earlier, I gave you kaning emotional regulation techniques. So, pag manage sa atong emotions, the first step here is you identify the emotion. Unsa man siya, are you angry? Are you feeling rejected? Are you insecure? Are you extremely sad at the moment? So, syempre, before you can manage or regulate a particular emotion, you have to know that emotion. So, it's really encouraged na imo diyang labelan, stressed ko karon, guol ko karon, suko ko karon. From there, you are already grounding yourself kay para ma-unhook nimo imong kaugalingon. Nahala, suko ko karon. Baka di na ba maayo ang masuko. So, imong tanggalon imong kaugalingon sa kanang pagkasuko. Okay? That's the third step. You act on your values. So, remember who you are. Kinsa man ka, um, uh, ikaw ba ang tao nga mo give in sa kasuko or ikaw ang tao nga gatry na ginadisiplina ang kaugalingon? So, naay daghay tao nga naay anger management issues. So, dali ra masuko, no? So, ang tool number 3 is where you are encouraged to act on your values. So, remember, unsa may imong important values, kindness, integrity, helpfulness, competence, respect, makadiyos, makatao, or hard work, or other things. Okay? Remember who you are. Kinsa man ka. Are you are you someone who wishes to, kanang mahimong peaceful sa imong words? So, mao to. So, in that sense, after unhooking, you act on your values and be kind. Notice the pain in yourself and others and respond with kindness. Very often, it's easy for us to show kindness to others, pero dili kita kind sa atong self. So, ang pagiging kind is dili lang ginahatag na sa uban, ginahatag pod na sa atong kaugalingon. And then make room. So, no need to push, no need to um, no need to kanang reject entirely these difficult thoughts and feelings. Kay kung imo ra pud siyang kalimtan, i-shake off. So, mahimo siyang mobalik lang. Okay? So, instead, make room. Sa may pasabot aning make room. So, you confront. Unsa man na? Unsay problema nimo? Notice the difficult thought or feeling with curiosity. Focus your attention on it. Imagine the painful feeling as an object or notice its size, shape, color, and temperature. Name that thought and allow that thought or feeling to come and go like the weather. Okay? So, mao to siya. So, you can appreciate the whole guide if you can get the material, the complete set of it. So believe me, it's really helpful for you to manage stress. Okay, so we can see a lot of stress management seminars. You might see stress management seminars in the future. But remember, the content of them all is just these five tools: grounding, unhooking, acting on your values, being kind, and what's the other one? Making room. Now, additional support and resources. So, daghan mo'y, aside from the things that I shared a while ago, there are mental health apps that you can download in your Play Store. You can open Google. You ask for suggestions. What are the best mental health apps? No? So that can help you manage your mental health issues or can help you maintain your optimal level of mental health. I remember I have a friend, she's single, wala siya boyfriend, pero nagka-boyfriend siya before, no? So wala siya boyfriend for a long time na. She's a woman, no? So ambot unsay reasons niya, I didn't ask anymore. Pero naa siya'y virtual boyfriend. Kay naay application sa Google, download lang ka, na mag-create ka og imong virtual boyfriend. Okay? So kay siya, mingawon man siya sa kanang feeling, akong theory, mingawon siya nga naa siya'y um, uyab siguro. So ang iyang buhaton, naa siya'y virtual boyfriend na mo-notify sa iyang phone na, uy, nagkaon na ka. So, tapos mag-chat-chat sila. So, motubag pod kay murag ang gamit adto nga app is AI. So, artificial intelligence. So, murag kung motubag pod siya, murag pod siya bright. Murag pod siya tarong na tao. Kay istorya pod ninyo. So, share ni mag problem. So, mag-update taraw ka na what happened to your day. So, istorya ka, share ka diha. And then, kadto virtual boyfriend or virtual girlfriend or virtual partner, mo reply pod siya. Okay? So, that can be, that can be helpful for you kung ganahan pod mo mga ing-ana, no? But definitely that's not for everyone. There are books on mental health as well, books about well-being, online health, mental health resources, of course, the crisis hotlines and support, and self-assessment tools. So there are people, for example, they feel very sad, no? They suspect that they are depressed already. So there are actually tests that you can take online, libre lang. So kung ang imong score is murag mag-indicate jud na you are depressed, siguro that's a time na moadto na jud kag legitimate na mental health service provider kay para mas tagaan ka ng mas tarong na mga tests, no? Kay syempre, you cannot diagnose yourself based on self-assessment tools that you can find online. Okay? So, pwede lang siya na magtabang sa imo. So, there are other self-assessment tools online, mga tests to test your personality, your strengths. So, you can also use those things so that you can build a profile of who you are, no? A profile of your strengths and weaknesses. Okay? So, main takeaways for this lecture video so far, um, yeah, that mental health is important, no? And that's a way to encapsulate all our conversations regarding our efforts to understand the self. Okay, and by now, yeah, that yeah, mental health is important. Psychological wellness, mental health issues are common among university students, and there's a need to be educated on mental health and what we can do for ourselves and others. And there are 5 easy tools or strategies for us to apply in managing excessive stress. Okay. Thank you for watching this lecture video.